I don't know how I'm just now seeing this. I'm about to show you a scene from a 1980 movie called Image of the Beast, and in it there's a computerized image of the Antichrist that sits on the throne in the Jewish temple. Pay attention to what this image says, and who he looks like.
It's the new golden calf, a computer that speaks and convinces people that it thinks. Hundreds of millions of people will worship that inanimate object, and it's in the temple.
My friends and loyal subjects, for the last 4 years, we have worked together to overcome the greatest physical hardships the world has ever known. World war, drought, famine, pestilence, fire, earthquakes, and volcanoes of unprecedented violence. But we have prevailed, thanks to our fantastic computer technology.
So can you tell who he looks like with the suit and tie, the orange-tinted tan skin, and the golden blonde hair? If you couldn't tell, I think he looks a lot like the Golden Dawn himself. They've got a very similar complexity to their skin and the bright golden hair. They even have a similar structure to their face. This movie came out all the way back in 1980. What are the odds that this movie's Antichrist, whose image is made with AI, looks a lot like our current President Trump, who is the biggest pusher of AI in world history?
Well, thank you very much. We have a big signing right now, and we have a tremendous industry where we're leading by a lot. It's the AI, artificial intelligence. I always thought it should be SI, supreme intelligence, but I guess somewhere along the line they decided on the word artificial, and that's okay with me. That's up to them. AI is a big deal. AI is going to be maybe the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, bigger than anything else. We are leading China by a lot. We're going to need the help of robots and other forms of I guess you could say employment. We're going to be employing a lot of artificial things. We're here today because we believe that America's destiny is to dominate every industry and be the first in every technology. And that includes being the world's #1 superpower in artificial intelligence. We're leading in AI, we're leading in everything.
Are you worried that AI is going to replace many American jobs?
No, it's going to create tremendous numbers of jobs. It's going to also create a lot of benefits medically for cancer research and other things. It's going to have a huge positive impact. And reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services. It'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto.
Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of the...
Dame i gospodo, prva dama na Sjedinjenih Amerikanskih državi, Melania Trump.
Thank you, First Lady Melania Trump, for inviting me to the White House.
Imagine a humanoid educator named Plato. Access to the classical studies is now instantaneous.
We clearly learned nothing from Terminator. How perfect is it that the AI and robotics technology capable of creating this image appears under this president who looks like this movie's Antichrist? But crazy enough, Donald Trump shows these prophecies and many other Antichrist biblical prophecies on his NFT cards. NFTs are essentially digital art with ownership verified on a blockchain. Here on this digital trading card, we see he shows himself as a half-human, half-AI robot image of himself, like the image of the beast. And then in this NFT, he shows himself seated on a throne, showing himself that he is God. Presumably this is the Lincoln Memorial, at least that's where my mind goes. But the idea is he is showing himself enthroned and sitting on the throne as God. But his own NFT collections that he himself released and sells for profit show many of the Bible prophecies of the Antichrist being fulfilled. For example, here we see Revelation 6:2. It says, "And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." We see in these NFTs the white horse, the bow, many images of him in a crown, and then many images of him going out conquering and to conquer. Notice how for some of the crown NFTs I showed, there's a lion alter ego with Trump that's wearing the crown. This harkens back to Revelation 13:2, which describes the beast, the empire which the son of perdition is the head over, as having the mouth of a lion. Here's another one of those NFTs with a reference to Trump with a lion. And in this one, we can see the prominent cheek teeth of the lion, the biting teeth. This is a reference to Joel 1:6, which mentions the cheek teeth of the lion, referencing its bite, the reckless strength and cruelty of the Antichrist. On top of his NFTs with lions, he's posted images of himself with lions many times on social media, such as this one he posted to Truth Social with another lion alter ego, and this image he posted last January, which features him taking a selfie with a roaring lion, with his own mouth open, roaring like the mouth of a lion. Even while making this video, Donald Trump once again exposes his vileness, as Daniel 11:21 describes, by posting this openly racist video which portrays the Obamas as apes, which, by the way, for context, are not in the movie The Lion King. And relevant to what I'm speaking of here, he posts himself once again as a lion. Trump also sells NFTs showing aspects of all the other horsemen from the first four seals. For example, in Revelation 6:4, the second seal is broken and we see the red horse, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. We saw Trump with a sword in this conquering NFT where arrows fly at him, but then also in this second NFT where he is personified as Lady Justice and is holding a sword like her. We see a spirit of Lady Justice behind him wearing the blindfolds. Interesting that he would carry the other aspects of her, the sword which represents power and authority, and the scales symbolizing weighing evidence, but not the blindfolds which represents impartiality. The never surrender is also relevant, as the Antichrist wants to never surrender to God. In Revelation 6:5 we see the third horse, the black horse, and this rider carries a pair of balances on him, just like Trump in the Lady Justice NFT. This horse brings famine and inflation. Revelation 6:6 says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." It becomes nearly a day's wages for a small amount of food. We see in this NFT Trump standing over a field of wheat, and the wheat barely stands over his waist. His hand is over the wheat as if about to affect it. MAGA likely thinks he's bringing abundance, but the NFT is showing the effect of the third horseman. The final horse we see in Revelation 6:8, and it is a pale horse who brings death and hell. In this NFT we see Trump on a pale gray horse with a never surrender flag. Not quite white, not quite black or brown, but pale. Here's another Antichrist NFT. We see Trump at a card table with 3 cards in front of him, all kings, and he is holding the 4th king. This is him showing he is the 4th king. He's holding it, he's claiming it. It's right here on the NFT he sells. The 4th king comes from Daniel chapter 7, where Daniel sees a vision of 4 great beasts. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first like a lion, the second like a bear, the third like a leopard, and the 4th unique one described as dreadful and terrible. In verse 17, Daniel was given the interpretation that these great beasts, which are 4 kings which shall arise rise out of the earth. In Daniel 2, God shows this to Nebuchadnezzar in his dream in a way that he, as a pagan ruler, would understand in the form of an idol, a statue with a head of gold, breasts and arms of silver, belly and thighs of brass, and legs of iron, with feet of part iron and part clay. This is again, like the beast, chronological kingdoms. God gives Daniel this interpretation to give the king, telling him these segments are kingdoms, but likewise the kings, as he calls Nebuchadnezzar directly the head of gold. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beast of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Then we get to the fourth kingdom. Like how the fourth beast had iron teeth and broke in pieces, the fourth kingdom is described as strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. And as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. Donald Trump in this NFT is showing himself holding the fourth king card. He is the fourth king. Here's one last piece of satanic and antichrist imagery shown on Donald Trump's NFTs. We see Trump falling from heaven onto Washington, D.C. as lightning, with lightning in his hand. This references back to Jesus speaking in Luke 10:18, which says, "And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven." So his NFTs show many of these Antichrist prophecies and characteristics. Many more than I've shown here. But let's go back to that 1980 movie. While this character playing the image of the Antichrist looks a lot like modern-day Donald Trump, he's not actually playing Donald Trump as the Antichrist, of course. But now I'm going to show you the earliest reference I've ever found to Donald Trump being called the biblical Antichrist. This reference comes from an article published in National Lampoon magazine in May 1989. Now, this is a satirical magazine, so the article may be joking or not, but contained within it is 1, the allegation publicly made that Trump is the Antichrist, joking or not, and 2, it contains some solid points, as well as some questionable ones. This is the cover of the article, titled Donald Trump's Demonic Conspiracy to Take Over North America. 2 of the article's primary points are demonstrated on the cover, the first being the similarities between the Omen series' Damien Thorne and Donald Trump. Damien Thorne is the Antichrist in the series. Over here you can clearly see how similar young Donald Trump looks to Damien Thorne from Omen 3, The Final Conflict. And then the second point they try to make here on the cover is pretty wild. Now keep in mind this is a satirical article, so I have no idea if this is true, but I would love for someone to find out. The article alleges that Donald Trump had 5 properties in New York City, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which form a pentagram when you extend the lines, which is crazy enough. I would really wonder if that's true. But then, crazier than that, they allege at this epicenter of all 5 of these points sits 666 Fifth Avenue. And what's so crazy about this is that at the time of writing this article, that was just, a random skyscraper that, of course, you would want to connect to the Antichrist. But 18 years later, that property would enter into Donald Trump's family through his son-in-law. In 2007, Jared Kushner bought the property and then married Ivanka 2 years later. This property that was allegedly at the center of this pentagram of properties of Donald Trump's would then 18 years later enter into his family. The cover of this magazine itself is also pretty weird because at the top it says conspiracy issue, what they don't want you to know inside. I suppose the identity of the Antichrist would be the ultimate secret, the elite secret they don't want you to know, if such a they exists. The article opens up, Donald Trump has the blood of a jackal coursing through his veins. How else do you explain why the billionaire Beelzebub categorically refuses to even acknowledge my polite request for a blood sample? In fact, this expert contends that not only is Donald Trump the son of Satan, but perhaps more significantly, the highly successful Omen movies of the 1970s are actually documentaries that chronicle the biblically prophesied ascendance ascendance of Donald Trump to power, as foretold by the New Testament's book of Revelations. The Revelations part, plural, is a pet peeve of mine, but I digress. Many people today believe Donald Trump is the Antichrist, but this, in 1989, may be the earliest known reference of someone making that claim out loud publicly. Not just an example of sort of foreshadowing or predictive programming of a movie like the Omen series showing that he is the Antichrist, but actually making the claim and sticking it to his name. On top of the similarity between their looks, there's a lot of commonalities shared between Donald Trump and what happens to the character in the movie, more than even the article touches on. Here's more of the similarities between the Antichrist from the Omen series, Damien Thorne, and Donald Trump than what the article mentions. They both have DT initials, both with 6 letters in the first name and 5 in the last. The names Donald and Damien both mean one who rules, dominates, or subdues. Another crazy connection we see between their names, Damien Thorne's and Donald Trump's, is that Damien Thorne is Damien T. Horn. Donald Trump, Trump and Horn, both of those are synonymous with trumpets, with cornets. They are the musical instrument. And this discrepancy in the names, the horn and the trump, are both relevant to the Antichrist, as in the book of Daniel, Daniel 7:8 and Daniel 8:9, the prophet refers to the Antichrist as a little horn. The little horn which rises up amongst the 10 horns and uproots 3 of them. Now, while you may picture the horns of a beast, in ancient times, those horns were literally used to make their cornets, their trumps, their trumpets, the shofar that they would blow. So that word, if we go and look at the original Hebrew, we can see that the word that is used for the horn is the Hebrew 7162 in the Strong's Concordance. This word is keren, with a Q, keren, meaning a literal horn, or the sound it makes. A horn or a cornet, blowing the trumpet or blowing the trump of the trumpet. So Donald Trump's name literally means a little horn, like Daniel calls the Antichrist. And Damien Thorne in the movies, after making the DT initials, leaves in his surname Horn. As you can see here, the cornet, the little horn, is synonymous with a horn, like the horn of Damien Thorne, or with trump, like Donald Trump, or with a trumpet. The trump is the mini trump, the little horn. Donald Trump's name, his last name, literally means little horn, like the Antichrist. And with the initials, with Damien Thorne, he shares that with this character. Both are liars and both brag about achieving great things.
We will make America great again. We will make America great again.
Both attended military academies. Both became incredibly rich via inheritances. Both turned their inheritances into vast multinational business enterprises and bought real estate all over the globe. Both had older brothers who died, allowing the younger sons to take over the family businesses. Damien Thorne takes over Thorne Industries in 1971. Donald Trump took over Trump Organization in 1971. Both rose to political power by lying and deceiving the masses. Both rallied legions of mesmerized followers. Both operated construction companies while in the White House. One of the most shocking that I'll add on to these is that in the Omen movies, Damien Thorne's mother dies on June 6, 1966. In real life, Donald Trump's grandmother died on June 6, 1966. A 6666. Both perfect all sixes. The movies obviously did it intentionally, but coincidentally, the same happened with Donald Trump's grandmother.
Damien Thorne is 32, attractive, brilliant, charismatic. To the modern world, he brings a purpose, a vision, a destiny. He's one step away from the most important position on earth.
Disciples of the Watch, I stand before you in the name of the one who is cast out from heaven, but is alive in me.
The power of evil is no longer in the hands of a child. Heed the warning. Prepare for the final conflict.
This is the final battle With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
Skipping a bit ahead, it says, one of Thorne's special trademarks is that all someone has to do is look at him the wrong way or even question his motives momentarily and off rolls the person's head, courtesy of a flying pane of glass. Or a body gets split in two thanks to a mysteriously malfunctioning elevator cable. So these are references to what happens in the movie, but that is exactly how Trump is with his ego. He will turn on someone for the slightest slight. He demands loyalty. And it says, true, Trump has yet to be brought up on substantiated charges of decapitation, but his enemies seem to mysteriously disappear nevertheless. Remember New York City Mayor Ed Koch? Gone. Merv Griffin's bid to control the resort's international casino? The stock plummeted. Leona Helmsley? Convicted. Leonard Stern's critical documentary on DJT? Passed on by all the major networks. Need more? How about the folks who were sued for copyright infringement for using the generic Ivana and Trump names and lost, even though the Trumps had no case? Remember when Trump castigated Time for writing a cover story that was flattering but not flattering enough? Was it only 2 weeks before Time Inc. was battling a nasty takeover bid by Paramount? And remember when Gorby was visiting the United States and innocently opted not to have an audience with Trump? Has anyone checked on how Soviet communism is doing these days? Could the writing on the wall be any more clear? These things the article mentions all demonstrate how things outside of Trump's control always played out in his favor. It's as if a supernatural force moves behind him, just like the random accidents and happenstances that work out in favor of Damien in the movies. All of these seemingly miraculous examples of survival or revenge or wiggling their way out of something, as we see in both the movie and for Donald Trump, as the article talks about in this period of his life, are demonstrative of the fact that for Donald Trump in particular, he's always managed to succeed or fail his way up, get out of whatever it would be that would normally finish any other politician because of things that largely at some time are out of his control. The Bible says that the Antichrist power shall not be his own, but his power comes from Satan. Think about how Trump managed to turn his head at the last second in Butler, or how despite inciting a riot at the Capitol, he was able to get elected again, or how despite having a felony conviction with 34 counts and other serious open cases, he manages to wiggle his way out and get off scot-free. The power of the Antichrist is great, but it is not his own. 2 Thessalonians 2, 8-9 says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. On top of that, Revelation 13:2 adds that the beast receives his power, seat, and great authority from the dragon, which is Satan. The article continues, the Omen's Damien Thorne attended military academy, and so did Donald Trump. And Trump consummated his first major business deal in 1976, the same year The Omen was released. More mind-blowing similarities. Damien Thorne is pale, humorless, and sports an awful, thinning haircut. Need I say more? Again, just like Donald Trump. They even messed with him about this in the 2016 election.
Can I mess your hair up?
You see it? Go ahead. With my hairspray.
Here's the full first page. You can see at the bottom it calls Donald Trump the Prince of Darkness. The rest of the article talks about Donald Trump's plan to get to power, and this part is way off. It expects a military conquest based on the properties he owns. However, we know from the Bible that the Antichrist shall obtain power through peace. Daniel 11:21 says, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. This matches with how Donald Trump actually came into power, obtaining the kingdom through flatteries, flattering the right groups such as the evangelicals to win the election. destruction coming in through peace. Daniel 8:25 also adds on to this, saying the Antichrist by peace shall destroy many. After speculating on how Donald Trump's military conquest would unfold, the article finishes off by reaffirming Donald Trump is the character from Revelation. What happens then? To be honest, the book of Revelations isn't exactly clear, but one thing's for sure. When Donald Trump sold his soul to the devil, he got one hell of a deal. I truly think this article may be the first instance ever of someone making an argument of any kind that Donald Trump may be the Antichrist. Interestingly, the Omen movie is one of those cult classics that is considered by many to be cursed. The production was plagued with terror and countless coincidences and strange phenomena occurring. The lead actor, writer, and executive producer were all on planes that got struck by lightning during the production. While filming in Rome, lightning narrowly missed striking one of the producers. There were also animal mishaps, with people being attacked by Rottweilers that were used to portray hellhounds, baboons causing terror on set, and one of the zookeepers dying in the jaws of a lion the day after filming. The assistant to the special effects designer, Liz Moore, was even tragically killed in a car accident during production, in an accident that eerily mirrored one of the scenes from the movie. In one case, filming of an action scene was delayed, and the private jet that they would have booked to get to the set tragically flew through a flock of birds and crashed, killing everyone on board. On top of that, the plane crashed into a car on the ground where the occupants were the pilot's wife and 2 kids. Filming in London narrowly avoided bombings from the IRA, and subsequent documentaries that were made on the alleged curse were plagued with technical errors during production. Very weird that this movie series about a Donald Trump-like Antichrist was plagued with so many strange and tragic coincidences and circumstances. If we go 2 years forward from the date of this article to 1991, a movie came out called Pizza Man, which was about a plot by Donald Trump, played by an actor, to take over the world, where he said people worship him like he's a god. If we go to the IMDb and read the plot of this movie, it says a pizza man is on a quest to get 1523 when someone orders one. He uncovers a plot to rule the world and stops at nothing to get his pay. This movie is all about a massive conspiracy involving organized crime, business, and politicians all working to take over the world, and controlling it all is Donald Trump. This plot, combined with him saying people worship him like a god, is clear Antichrist imagery, even without the title being ascribed to him.
Where you been all these years?
Where do you think I've been? I'm Donald Trump.
I know. You're a pizza man, and a pretty good one.
That was back in the early 70s. I'm a billionaire now. Donald Trump. The Trump Palace. The Trump Plaza. The Trump Shuttle. The Trump Game. The Trump Book. Trump, Trump, Trump!
Trump, huh? Trump. No, doesn't ring a bell. Why'd you leave the pizza business anyway?
To become a billionaire. Pay attention, will you, Elmo? Now I'm rich, powerful. People worship me like a god.
People worship me like a god.
Well, here we are, Donnie. What's it gonna be now? I still want my 1523.
I guess the only thing left to do is to kill you. Bulldoze the Ambassador Hotel and build the tallest, ugliest skyscraper in L.A. with you entombed in a cement foundation.
You bastard. You'd gridlock Wilshire Boulevard, wouldn't you?
I wanted to beat you, Elmo. Beat you at your own game. But if that means I have to kill you, well, so be it.
No, you can't. I love him. No!
Not the sausage, you fool! You'll blow us all up!
That's the idea, Donnie. Shoot me and we'll all go. Come on, get back! Ollie, in the corner!
No, Elmo. Let's negotiate this. I'm a master negotiator.
You still don't get it. All I want is my 1523.
No, never! You can have the palace. You can have the plaza. You can even have the Taj Mahal. But never will I give you your 1523!
All right, we'll do it your way. But this is for Vince and the kid.
6 years after the Pizza Man film, Donald Trump would once again be connected to a Antichrist-adjacent, Satan, devil-themed movie, one called Devil's Advocate. This time not directly about the Antichrist, but about the devil and the devil's son. In it, quick spoiler alerts, Keanu Reeves is a lawyer out of Florida who goes to work for a powerful law firm in New York, drawn by money and power, where he eventually finds out the head is not only his biological father, but Satan himself. How this connects to Trump is that the producers, when scouting out a location for the devil's house, they were looking for something rich and gaudy and over the top, and what they went with was Trump Tower, his penthouse on the 66th floor. Here's a scene from the movie featuring the set located at Trump's penthouse apartment, and then here's another picture of it when it's not in a film set, a different angle of Trump's apartment. That was the scene that they used. And according to screenwriter Tony Gilroy, when he went on the WTF podcast, not only did Trump offer it to them, he threw it at them.
I can't believe that, like, it's a big budget Warner Brothers movie and that happened.
Yeah.
So it feels very and oh my God, and the Trump shit.
Yeah. Was he in there?
Fuck, man, it's his apartment.
Really?
The killer real estate dude, the killer real estate molester, we shot in his apartment, in Trump's apartment. We needed the ugliest, most garish, horrifying real estate developer apartment you could possibly have, and Trump threw his apartment at us. And
that's right.
And so we didn't have to do. If you look at the movie, that's his fucking shitbag apartment with all the Versailles gilt and then the high-rise windows. It's so perfect. And he came by set every day.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm a surprise, Kevin. They don't see me coming. That's what you're missing.
Then his other hand went up inside my skirt.
You know, I could say, they'd say you don't cure, as an example, child molester. You don't cure these people. You don't cure a child molester. There's no cure for it. Pathological, there's no cure for that.
Somebody I want you to meet. Kevin and Marianne Lomax, this is Senator Alphonse D'Amato, Ambassador Charles Pagano. In case you didn't know, these are the Republicans of New York.
You know, Barjoon always overstates things.
Donald Trump was supposed to be here tonight, but he had a business emergency. Probably Mark Zuckerman.
In case you didn't know, these are the Republicans of New York.
You know, Barjoon always overstates things.
Donald Trump was supposed to be here tonight, but he had a business emergency. Probably Mark Zuckerman.
Mr. Murdo?
You're on.
Mr. Murdo? For God's sake, man.
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
Why do we have to keep going?
Because it needs to be clear, Mr. Cullen. Because I need to know and understand exactly what happened. You're standing there. You look down. There's the gun. You kneel down to pick it up.
You work late, you come home, you walk in, everybody's dead. It's not something you planned for.
Stop. Back up. Two prints by the gun. Right hand, right knee. Right knee.
We have been over this.
I'm trying to picture it. I'm trying to picture it. Your hand came from inside and underneath.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm a surprise, Kevin. They don't see me coming. That's what you're missing.
And I'm talking to my friend who I'm sitting to and across from on my left side. I'm very clear on this. This is the vivid part for me. So the person on my right, who unbeknownst to me at that time was Donald Trump, put their hand up my skirt.
Your hand came from inside and underneath.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt.
All of us, acquittal after acquittal after acquittal, until the stench of it reaches so high and far into heaven, it chokes the whole fucking lot of them.
In the Bible, you lose.
We are waking up after Donald Trump's second impeachment trial and his second acquittal. The former president issued a statement calling the whole thing, quote, a witch hunt.
This latest acquittal comes 1 year and 8 days after Democrats first tried and failed to convict Trump.
You ever asked God for forgiveness? That's a tough question. I don't think in terms of, I'm a religious person. Shockingly, because people are so shocked when they find this out. I'm Protestant, I'm Presbyterian, and I go to church and I love God and I love my church. And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale was my pastor. The power of positive thinking. Everybody's heard of Norman Vincent Peale. He was so great. He would give a sermon you never wanted to leave. Sometimes we have sermons and every once in a while we think about leaving a little early, right, even though we're Christian. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Frank, would give a sermon. I'm telling you, I still remember his sermons. It was unbelievable. And what he would do is he'd bring real life situations, modern day situations, into the sermon. And you could listen to him all day long. When you left the church, you were disappointed that it was over. He was the greatest guy. And then, you know, he passed away, but he was a great, he wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, which is a great book.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so. I think if I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't.
Two of Donald Trump's most popular books, The Art of the Deal and The Art of the Comeback, reference two of the most well-known Antichrist prophecies in the Bible, the Daniel 9:27 covenant with many and the Revelation 13:3 head wound and recovery, the comeback. In 1998, Trump was on the cover of this multifamily executive magazine with the title Taking a Bite Out of the Big Apple, and it looks like he's holding the apple, symbolizing the forbidden fruit that he's bitten into or is offering. I do find it kind of poetic or ironic, perhaps, that it says on the bottom, inside, sexual harassment, your legal responsibility. In case you didn't think that one was clear enough, in 2004, Trump was on the cover of Razor magazine with this caption. This is the title, The Resurrection and Ascension of Donald Trump. This is a clear and direct and blasphemous reference to the resurrection and ascension of Jesus. There is no one else who resurrects and ascends out of that happening through Jesus himself. We also see him with a halo, as if symbolizing holiness. And then if we look down at his hands, he is making a downward-facing triangle, which I've covered on my channel before, is an occultic Freemason Luciferian hand sign symbolizing a downward prayer allegiance to Satan. It is not something he has just made in passing every now and then. He makes this sign frequently. This is why he also shows his hands resting in that position on another one of his NFT cards. Now, if we go back and look at the barcode closely on this magazine, we can see that it says Volume 4, Issue number 5, 4 and 5, like how Trump was the 45th president. And this came out in 2004. Here's the cover of a 2017 photography book by Ron Galella called The Master Builder. We see Trump at the top of a golden escalator going up to heaven, looking as if he's about to come down, like Satan falling from heaven. The title itself also references back to one of the oldest Antichrist typologies in the Bible, Nimrod, who was the builder of the Tower of Babel, the tower which the people made to ascend to heaven, causing God to confound their language. They wanted to be like God, and Nimrod was the master builder, attempting to ascend to godhood like the Antichrist. Nimrod, being the master builder, is who the Freemasons trace back to. The highest of the 3 degrees of initiation in Freemasonry is the Master Mason. The title of this book directly references to that final degree of initiation, the Master Mason, as a mason, as you can see from the Oxford Dictionary definition, is a builder or a worker in stone. The master builder title means the master mason. The first degree of initiation is the entered apprentice, which Trump is also connected to with his TV show The Apprentice. On this cover for The Apprentice, the entered apprentice, we once again see the downward facing triangle. In 2007, there was a web series called 5 On with Alan Wider, which would later go on to inspire the Comedy Central show Ugly Americans in 2010. In the show, the host would interview 5 of anything on everything. He would interview 5 subjects of a particular species on a certain issue. In episode 3, Demons on the Environment, the host would interview 5 demons on climate change. And one of those demons was Donald Trump, once again showing Donald Trump portrayed as a demon or demonic or a devil. We see Demon Donald Trump, underworld business tycoon. And in his interview, he talks about subjects that would come up in the 2016 election.
What are your thoughts about global warming?
That's a good question. Global warming, important issue. Listen, I want to spend this interview talking about global warming. I don't want to be talking about Rosie O'Demon. But, you know, Rosie O'Demon, she's a fat loser, whereas I am a slim or slender demon.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. Your Twitter account...
Thank you.
I love to win, what can I say? And she's a loser. She doesn't know how to win. She's not very talented, and she's fat with a fat crotch on her. And I'd like to sue her in a demon court and take some money out of her fat pockets.
On top of portraying Donald Trump in the web series, someone pointed out the logo that you see on screen for 5 On looks a bit like an L before the O and N going underneath it and the 5 before it. 5 possibly representing E as the 5th letter. We see E-L-O-N like Elon, potentially showing his name encoded in the logo. If you go online and watch the whole episode, the timestamp when Demon Donald Trump first comes on screen is 1:07. 1 minute, 7 seconds. 17, like 17. The 17th letter of the alphabet is Q, and Trump has very many close connections with this letter. For one, most obviously, the biggest cult following of Trump is those who believe in the QAnon conspiracy. The QAnon beliefs are very fractured and disparate, believe in a wide range of conspiracies, from Donald Trump planning a storm to round up and execute Hollywood actors and Democratic politicians, to the belief that JFK Jr. secretly faked his death and was planning to run as VP under Trump in 2020, to the belief that Trump rushed the vaccine as a 4D chess move to prevent the deep state from locking down the entire globe. The idea came from an anonymous poster on 4chan going by Q, who claimed to have high Q-level intelligence clearance and knew the military was planning to work with Trump to take down the deep state ran by powerful satanic blood-drinking pedophiles. Many have speculated who Q was, with speculation ranging from Trump allies like Michael Flynn or Steve Bannon, the whole thing being a CIA psyop, to even Trump himself.
Who is Q? You'll never know, folks. I'm not sure. Or maybe I know and I just can't tell you. Who do you guys think it is, out of curiosity? No. Salty cracker for press secretary? Q is Trump? I don't know.
Trump has frequently made posts with Q imagery. He has paintings with Q in his Mar-a-Lago estate. People have attended his rallies with large Qs or QAnon slogans like the WWG1 WGA, and Trump has even leaned into the conspiracy in interviews.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much.
At the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind? Or
well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there.
That letter, Q, also connects to the Antichrist little horn title that I discussed from the book of Daniel. How fitting is it that the literal cult following of Donald Trump is represented by the same letter that begins the name of the Antichrist in the Old Testament? The Karen, the little horn, the Trump. Corinne. Perhaps Trump is Q in more ways than one. Back to 5 on. On top of his interview being reminiscent of the 2016 election that was 9 years after this web series came out, the next episode, Zombies on Healthcare, interviews zombies on the presidential candidates.
I think that Hillary Clinton is too wooden.
The episode prior features robots being interviewed on illegal immigration, a subject which would become one of the main points of Trump's 2016 campaign.
These Mexican type of robots that are coming into this country.
So this show both depicted Donald Trump as a demon and portrayed predictively some of the things that would come up in the 2016 election. But in the show it would inspire ugly Americans, the symbolism and predictive programming would become even more clear. For example, in season 1, episode 10, Sympathy for the Devil, we would see a politician running for mayor of New York who looks a lot like Donald Trump with the hair and the suit and tie. The character is Councilman Sammy Fitzpatrick, a merman running for mayor of New York City, whose campaign consisted mostly of selling his soul. You can see some similarities to Trump here, where it says he had the worst political instincts there could be, often landing on scandalous headlines in newspapers. That happens all the time with Trump, even going back before he was a politician. And Trump himself has been called in real life an ugly American many times.
What does Donald Trump mean to you? What Donald Trump means to me is the worst. It's the ugly American. In my mind, Donald Trump is the ugly American.
In another episode, we would see Trump Tower portrayed in hell. It's almost perfect, except if it were to be like the real one, you would see 6 of those little statues on each part of the triangle, as Trump has 6 bushes on each part, making a 666. Nonetheless, they show Trump Tower in hell. This show, with Trump Tower in hell, a Trump-like character selling his soul to the devil, and inspired by a web series which portrayed demon Donald Trump, also showed in another episode very clear predictive programming of the Butler assassination attempt, where Twain is literally counting down to the end of days and is halted by a failed assassination attempt.
Welcome to the end of days. Now let's drop the ball and count down to the end of days. Countdown to the end of days.
And farewell, General Twain, Bone Reaper.
10, 9, 8.
I dare say, I hardly know ye.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Aim for his heart, Lily.
Ow! Somebody shot my ear! Somebody shot my ear!
Who the hell is using live ammunition?
This ass up here! Huh?
Worst pre-enactment ever. I'm distancing myself from this mess.
I knew he'd trust something stupid. Be brave, be brave.
And now you're going to run for president. Don't you think that's a really cool idea, you guys? You'll keep them honest. You'll keep them honest, Donald. Personally, I hope you win, because I can't wait for the the inauguration.
I can't wait for the the inauguration.
This the final call.
Look, I know Ye proud of me, he took me out of debt. I know Jay proud of me, he put this around my neck. And I might just kill ISIS with the same ice pick that I murdered Donald Trump in the same night with.
Ashes of poor man's money.
It's an actor dressed to look just like President Donald Trump as he's assassinated on stage. Look as his character is stabbed to death. And there's no mistaking the Trump connection. Check out the unbuttoned overcoat and red tie that hangs over his waist. It's a staging of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar that is outraging many.
So folks, here's what happens. I will call up Carrier, the president, because I have to do it myself. I know it's not... Thank you for the warning. I was ready for him, but it's much easier if the cops do it. Don't we agree? Huh? What a great job. What a great job. And to think I had such an easy life. What do I need this for, right? Great.
그리고 사실 북한의 경제는 굉장히 어렵지 않습니까? 그걸 좀 빗댄 거고, 그리고 미국은 사실 뭐 이자로 사는 나라거든요. 뭐 그걸 좀 경제적인 어떤 용어는 다 차치하고라도, 그래서 그런 쪽의 어떤 그 풍자를 이런 영화라는 극을 통해서 뭔가 좀 절실하게.
Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I am outraged. Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I'd like that you're all a part of it. When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? I want to clarify, I'm not an actor. I lie for a living.
There he is. There's the beast. Oh. Oh my gosh. Look at that car that just came out of the woods. That car right there just drove out of the woods.
Plot to kill Donald Trump. A man driving across state lines, showing up at a rally in Las Vegas, and reaching for an officer's gun. ABC News obtaining a federal complaint. Authorities say that man told the officer he was there to get Trump's autograph, and that's when he tried to get the gun. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas leading us off.
As the Donald Trump rally got underway this weekend at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino, a young man approached a police officer stationed at the event and asked for an autograph. Then, without warning, the man went for the officer's gun, trying to take it away, only to be quickly subdued. Authorities now say that Michael Sanford, 19, allegedly told the Secret Service that this was an attempt to kill Trump. A complaint obtained by ABC News claims Sanford, who has a British driver's license, had been planning to assassinate Trump for about a year.
The assassination attempt in Butler was also foreshadowed by Pokemon. This Pokemon is Gumshoes, Pokemon number 735. Gumshoes first appeared in Generation 7 in the Sun and Moon Pokemon games, which came out in November 2016, just before Trump first became president. Gumshoes is a mongoose-like Pokemon which is covered in fur, and sitting square on top of his head is a bright yellow blonde patch shaped just like human hair that leans over his eyes and sits like Trump's hair. It's perfectly like like if Trump's hair was put on a Pokemon. On top of the clear Trump hair pointing this Pokemon to Trump, he has a small notch out of his ear, alluding to where Trump got shot in Pennsylvania. The standard picture of the gumshoes is even facing so we see the notch on the right ear of the Trump-haired Pokemon. In the 2021 movie The Suicide Squad, the Butler earshot was also forecast in a way similar to Ugly Americans. The Thinker in the movie was one of the supervillains, and he wore a bandage on his right ear just like Trump after the assassination attempt. In a deleted scene from the movie, it shows he got shot in the ear just like Trump did.
But all it would take would be one blessed act of rebellion for you to restore your dignity in its entirety. Yes, sir, blood. Hand me the cup.
It only takes one blessed act of rebellion to restore my dignity. I shot him in the ear! You're a maniac!
Oh my God.
Another character foreshadowing Trump that's a villain in the series, like how the Antichrist is a villain, the villain of the end times. The Thinker is supposed to be an ultra genius, and Trump has described himself many times specifically as a stable genius.
I am the most stable human being. Remember they said a stable genius. I am the most stable human being. They want to do things like no more cows and no windows in buildings. They have some wonderful plans for this country. Washing machines to wash your dishes. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
So this villain character is predictive programming of Trump. In Louisville, Kentucky, August Rodin's statue titled The Thinker was defaced with Trump messages. On top of the connections to the Thinker character through the earshot and bandage and things that happened in real life, if you look at the DC Comics images of the Thinker AI, which is made after the Thinker's death, you can see he has hair like Trump, like the Gumshoes Pokemon, and he has a face of fierce countenance like Trump's mugshot. This further demonstrates how the character itself is predictive programming of Trump and his shot to the ear. Another AI character that's seemingly based on Trump is Robotus from the 2021 show Inside Job. This character is an AI robot that replaces the president, and he looks very similar to Trump. On top of being the president, the wiki actually lists Donald Trump as one of his possible aliases. This is another example of the AI/robot/cyborg copy or version of Donald Trump motif like we saw in the image of the beast and on his NFT card. At the beginning of the show, Robotus gains sentience and tries to destroy the whole world with nukes. Along with simply being the villain, destroying or attempting to destroy the world is another predictive programming motif we see around these Trump characters.
Oh my God, Mr. President, what an honor.
The honor is mine.
Actor James Vanderbeek.
This isn't the president. It's a robot replica that's gonna replace him.
Love it, love it.
I'm gonna make the best AI they've ever seen. And once we launch Robotus, then they'll see that I don't need a co-leader, and that eye contact is overrated.
I don't have time to explain that America isn't perfect, but I could show you.
Oh God, what are you doing?
Connecting him to the internet. 5 minutes on Facebook and he'll lose his patriotism boner.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, just Florida alone.
Right?
It appears you were right, Reagan. All of humanity is flawed.
See? He learned.
The best thing for humanity is to end it. Hello, Pentagon? Yes, it's me. Arm all the nukes and set targets to everywhere. Stand by for the codes.
He wants us to launch the nukes?
Should we really just blindly follow these orders?
Hold for confirmation.
Ah, Oh, yeah, that's good.
Initiate shutdown sequence.
Sorry, folks. I wrote that part of my code out. Who wants a Jack and Coke?
Ooh, do you have diet?
So it all worked out. We survived Armageddon, and I think I might get along with Brett after all.
Not to mention you still have all your limbs. So happy for you. I'd clap, but, well played, Reagan. A tasty little quid pro quo.
There was no quid pro quo.
I want no quid pro quo.
Two magazine covers from the 90s forecasted the Butler assassination attempt. In 1994, a New York magazine featured Trump crawling up from below and hanging over the edge in front of the New York City skyline. The title is Trump's Near-Death Experience, which of course would happen for real 30 years later. The subtitle explains the cover and is especially interesting, saying he claws his way back from the abyss thanks to luck, bluster, and Chinese billionaires. That word abyss means a seemingly bottomless chasm, a bottomless pit. Revelation 9:11 mentions the angel of the bottomless pit that is king over the locusts. The locusts ascend from the bottomless pit when the fifth trumpet sounds. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. Interesting that in the Hebrew tongue it literally sounds like a bad dawn. Abaddon, a bad Don, a bad Donald. It's debated who this king is, but it's certainly someone on the side of Satan in the end times, possibly part of the unholy trinity. Most commonly, it's viewed as the Antichrist, Satan, or a satanic Ephesians 6:12 principality, like a demon or a lowercase g god. Some even think it represents the Antichrist literally possessed by Satan after his head wound. This idea comes from Satan literally entering into Judas before betraying Jesus in Luke 22:3 and John 13:27. Judas, like the Antichrist, is called the son of perdition. That name Apollyon means destroyer, the same meaning as Apollo, one who destroys or lays waste, the Greek god who Trump honors in his home at his New York penthouse. He has a painting of Apollo led in his chariot by Aurora, as well as a mural on his ceiling of Apollo crossing the heavens. So this 1994 magazine cover both predictably programmed the assassination near-death experience and connected Trump to the bottomless pit of Abaddon. In 1992, another New York magazine cover foreshadowed Butler. It's got Trump depicted like a boxer who's been knocked down in the ring, scrambling to get back up after a brutal hit. Scrambling, like he just barely avoided defeat. The title says, Fighting Back. Trump scrambles off the canvas. When Trump got shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, he shouted, "Fight, fight, fight," while pumping his fist. The title points to that phrase, and the cover has him literally making fists to fight. This phrase became a slogan for his election campaign, with signs popping up at his rallies. This is, interestingly, a coded 666, and it's not hard to understand. F is the sixth letter of the alphabet, so 3 F's for the phrase is 3 6s.
There he is. 1, 2, 3. Fight, fight, fight.
The picture on the cover of the magazine also has the author's name in a straight line next to his right ear, a lot like the famous picture of the bullet flying by Trump's ear in Butler. So two 1990s magazine covers forecast Trump's assassination, his fight, fight, fight 666 moment. But there's another fight, fight, fight Trump is connected to through QAnon, specifically in Q Drop 2190. In this post, we see Q signed off with the fight, fight, fight in all caps. And crazier than that, the picture included features Trump pumping his fist in the air with his eyes glowing like a deity. This Q drop, the term for the QAnon post, was from all the way back in September 2018, nearly 6 years before the assassination attempt. How crazy is it that the QAnon post features both the phrase he said and an image of him in the pose, further predictive programming? Now, I'm not saying this gives any validity to QAnon. I'm pointing out the predictive programming for the assassination where it is. In fact, using instances like this of apparent prediction is a great sign and wonder that would be used to trick people into falling for a movement. This is what Jesus warned of in Matthew 24:24. This wonder of prediction could turn someone to QAnon, and that is a deception in itself. The same can be said for false self-professed prophets who perform a great wonder of seemingly predicting things before they happen. But I'll get back to the false prophets in a bit. On July 9th, 2024, literally nearly 4 days before the Butler assassination attempt, a horror film called Thine Ears Shall Bleed was released, and the cover art literally shows a bloody ear. IMDb describes, in 1860s America, a minister's family hears an unexplained noise from woods during their wagon journey. Mistaking it for divine presence, they worship until realizing its sinister nature. So the movie is literally about mistaking something sinister for divine presence or intervention.
Heavenly Father, is that you? God hath spoken. We are in the presence of the Lord.
You can't deny the power of God on this man's life. You can't deny that God protected him. You cannot deny that it was a millimeter miracle that was able to save this man's life. Could it be that Jesus Christ preserved him for such a time as this? Could it be?
What if it's not God in these woods, but something else? Something unholy?
Christian folks say it's the devil's disciple who comes in the night to possess the innocent. Something strange and unworldly is afoot.
Father says we're in the Garden of Eden.
It is not Eden. It is sorcery.
I do the weed.
Maybe it's too powerful.
No, everything is caused by he who resides above.
That sound is not God. If anything, it's the devil himself.
It is a miracle of God.
After Trump survived his earshot, many people, including himself multiple times, began saying he was saved by God, and practically worshipped him because of this divine chosen status they ascribed to him. This movie forecasts that mistake and demonstrates the underlying sinister nature that is followed by making that mistake.
I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
The devil came to Pennsylvania holding a rifle, but an American lion got back up on his feet and he roared!
You don't get slight grazes to the ear. I mean, that is divine intervention, that he was not, mortally wounded.
Fate stepped in, God, the hand of God, call it whatever you like.
Evil came for the man we admire and love. I thank God that his hand was on President Trump.
The fact that this is about milliseconds and millimeters that changes this from being an attempt and an assassination should really talk about the divine intervention that has occurred here.
Trump is truly blessed by the hand of God being able to evade being assassinated.
And we thank him for protecting our next president, Donald J. Trump.
It was a clear assassination attempt. I think there was maybe some divine intervention.
If you didn't believe in miracles before Saturday, you better be believing right now.
Seems like God's hand is on his shoulder.
I believe it. I believe we all witnessed a miracle, literally. From, before it happened, the flag above got blown in the wind and it got tied into literally what looked like an angel. Did you see that video?
I didn't see it.
Oh my gosh, you guys have to find that. It was truly, it was like an angel coming down, and it was the American flag tied. They had to bring it down, and all the people in the stands helped unravel it, and it was literally before he came out on the stage.
Did you know that President Trump was shot on 6/11? And do you know that Ephesians chapter number 6, verse number 11, says, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power.
This is not a war between the left and the right. This is a war between good and evil. We're going to pray for the will of God for him to be the next 47th president. Father, we thank you. We come to you and we lift up President Trump. Father, you protected him. You guarded him with a purpose for this time, such a time as this.
We're going to pray right now over President Trump's ear.
The others that are critically wounded.
And the others as well. So let's start with him. Put your hand over your ear. Father, in the name of Jesus, we pray over Mr. Trump right now. And we thank you for an accelerated healing process. Lord, I thank you that Jesus healed an ear. Well, he can do it right now with President Trump.
And I picked up his ear and put it back.
Thank you, Jesus.
And it was like it had never happened.
Thank you, Lord.
And the ministering spirits that my servant prayed for are the ones that deflected that bullet. Just enough.
Thank you, Jesus.
Just enough.
Just enough.
For it was impossible for them to kill him.
That's right. Be healed, be whole, be delivered now in the name of Jesus. And this will declare a mighty testimony of the goodness of God in Jesus' name.
Your work is your ministry to God. And the walk had to be right. A blood-anointed walk. A blood-anointed walk life. A blood-anointed work life. A blood-anointed thought life. And here's the point. That when the president turned his head and the bullet that was supposed to kill him, it caused blood to flow from his right ear. And he reached up with his right hand and he's got blood on his thumb. And I thought, well, if there's anything to this, what about his big toe? And then I thought, oh my goodness, the thing that Trump said when they picked him up and were trying to get him out, where are my shoes? I want my, something took my shoes off.
Let me get my shoes.
I'm not trying to be mystical or strange or weird. But you know, when God showed up, God told Moses, take your shoes off. Joshua, take your shoes. You know what that really means? God saying, I'm about to step into your shoes, Moses. You thought you could lead the people. You tried on your timing and failed. But I'm going to step into your shoes. I'm going to get in your walk. I'm going to get in the work of your hands. And with my help and only by my Spirit, you're going to rebuild this nation. And I'm going to give you a new ear. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying. I really believe that God has given Donald Trump a new ear. You prayed for it for decades, Paula, and you brought thousands of preachers in, and he would listen, and we would all be amazed at some of those meetings that Ralph, God would give you such wisdom. I watched.
We sat at lunch today. And Dr. Barclay said, my favorite slogan and my favorite saying now is what Donald Trump said right after the bullet pierced his ear. And he stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Amen. So we went out and we got him a gold-plated AR-15 with inscribed right on the mag, fight, fight, fight. The MAGA special edition engraved with Donald Trump shaking his fist right there and the president's seal on it. Sir!
The 1994 and 95 Illuminati card game New World Order also showed the assassination attempt on Trump predictively.
Watch out.
Talking Points believes enough is enough with the anti-Trump movement. Man won the election, give him a chance. but a bright line in the sand, and we will protect you, that I can tell you, and we will say enough is enough. This will be the year the American people say enough is enough. This will finally be the year the American people say enough is enough. Enough is enough.
It was the American people saying enough is enough. They're fed up.
And say enough is enough.
Say enough is enough. Enough is enough. And we do not tolerate this kind of behavior in this country.
But I will tell you this, and I can say it with certainty. I had no idea it would go this far. No matter how insane I got, millions of you showed up to support me. Me, the guy who hosted The Apprentice and sold steaks. But enough is enough. It has to be stopped. It has to be stopped now. But enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
A new world order.
President Trump's foreign policy mean a new world order. Joining us now to discuss.
Can we skinny dip? At Camp David? Sure. They couldn't keep pants on Kissinger.
There's a need for a new world order. A new world order can be created.
Way back in 1948, the aerospace engineer Wernher von Braun wrote a novel called Project Mars. It was science fiction, but it included scientific calculations for manned missions, as well as one shockingly prophetic line. The Martian government was directed by 10 men, the leader of whom was entitled Elon. 70 years later, Elon Musk is among the billionaires reviving rocketry in the private sector, building on more than a century of scientific advancements as we ponder living in space. For mega-wealthy entrepreneurs, space is the new frontier. Elon Musk's SpaceX, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, and Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic blasted rocketry back into the headlines. Musk and SpaceX command perhaps the most attention, with notable successes like their launch of the huge Falcon Heavy 3-booster rocket in February 2018. Up next is their much-hyped BFR, which might someday be used to ferry colonists to Mars, so humans can become what Musk and others call a multi-planet species, able to survive if Earth becomes uninhabitable. And if Musk is indeed the one to create a space colony, von Braun's 1948 novel will prove eerily prescient: Humans Living on Mars. shepherded by a leader named Elon.
At Neodyne Industries, we have successfully completed a global network consisting of 64 satellites. The project is named Starline Network. Starline Network. This is a monumental achievement. Hey, Starline will unite the world.
Because yeah, even if an entire region or country was lost connectivity because of a severe, hurricane or floods or fires or tornadoes, earthquakes. There's so many natural disasters, obviously. You would actually still have, even if all the cell towers were taken out, your phone would still work. The important thing about this is that it means there's no dead zones anywhere in the world for your cell phone. It will save lives.
I don't think so. The Starline Network is a mere front for a plan to launch a nuclear satellite into space. VSSE has dispatched 2 agents to prevent the launch. Keith Martin, Robert Baxter,
There's some news.
Christy Ryan,
He's still alive.
Wild Dog, ready. My dream will soon come true. Ernesto Diaz. Time Crisis 2.
Your project is going down in flames. They'll be here soon.
The Optimus robots will walk among you. Please be nice to the Optimus robots.
Thank you. You said someone, not something.
Thank you. I do need space to function.
Yet another on-time delivery.
You have to do what someone asks you. Don't you, Detective Spooner?
Any job that I'm set out to do, I will complete.
Your second round, sir. Thank you.
There you go. Ice cold beverage.
In the future, do you think you will overtake humans?
No, definitely not.
Things are just lights and clockwork.
Because the Lord told me, He said, I am not done with America. Amen. He said there's going to be a new wave of patriotism coming out, and that's whenever I saw Trump, and I saw a red wave coming out of Michigan, and then I saw Oklahoma, and there was embers of people, and they were all on they had torches all throughout Oklahoma, and they were raising up these torches that looked like fire, and they were bringing forth a new patriotism upon the nation, and it was being birthed, and it just kept spreading like fire all throughout America, all throughout. And I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming.
Jesus warned in Matthew 24:24 that there would be false Christs and false prophets who would show great signs and great wonders in the last days. This apparent prediction was predictive programming of the assassination attempt down to a T, and it conditioned people in advance and afterwards, when they see the prediction, to believe that he was saved by God, like he keeps saying, and then also to believe that it strengthened his Christian faith, because Brandon Biggs prophesied it in the prediction that he apparently seen to get right. It's a false sign and wonder. In Deuteronomy 18:21-22, it teaches us how to discern false prophets, saying, "And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord hath not spoken? When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord hath not spoken. But the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of him." So the Bible makes clear, if someone claims to be a prophet and they get even one thing wrong, it's not from the Lord. Brandon Biggs has a history of false prophecies. Around 2013, he falsely prophesied a major economic crash, urging people to prepare by buying rations, supplies, and investing in things like silver or the Iraqi dinar. When it didn't happen, people reportedly faced financial losses. Some accounts state that he personally contacted affected individuals to apologize, saying things like, "I'm sorry," or "I missed it bad." In one instance, even being confronted by a pastor who talked to him about the seriousness of false prophecy, referencing Old Testament consequences. Other false prophets have come about and seem to predict Donald Trump and offer predictive programming of what would happen. One of the most famous of these is Kim Clement, known as the singing prophet. He, like Brandon Biggs, has gotten prophecies wrong and even admitted to and defended this and said, essentially, that it does not matter.
I want you to understand, there's no classification of sin. Prophets of old were not stoned because they didn't predict something correctly. It's when they led the people of Israel astray. And you can read that in my book called Call Me Crazy, But I'm Hearing God. Because I speak about it and it's scriptural. Of course we will make mistakes. And of course we are under correction. And you know what our correction is? The Word of God. And those that are around you. And I am accountable. But what about the words that are coming to pass? You'd rather call for the little things that you see that did not come to pass and may still come to pass.
Kim Clement would die before Trump ever became president, but in the early 2000s and 2010s, at some of his service performances, made vague predictions that people have retroactively ascribed as prophecies about Donald Trump. And then people use these so-called prophecies to then defend Trump being chosen by God, even though all of these are very vague and never actually clarifies what people are drawing now out of these prophecies.
Trump shall become a trumpet, says the Lord. No, you didn't hear me. Trump shall become a trumpet. Are you listening to me? I will raise up the trump to become a trumpet. Do you hear the sound of the trumpet? And Bill Gates to open up the gate of a financial realm for the church, says the Lord. Do you hear the sound of the trumpet? Lord, the betrayal that has been so evident in the White House, bring that to an end. I see a president that shall come, and this is not to speak bad about this one. There is a president who will come. And God says he will have absolutely no fear. Absolutely no fear. Will be decisive, make decisions. And then in the middle of the restoration of America, rapidly because of a source of energy that shall come quickly. If you as a nation believe it, if you want this, lift your voice and shout one more time and say, yes! Yes to Esther. Yes to Esther. Yes to Esther. Yes to Esther. The Spirit of God says one more thing I want to talk to you about. That little dwarf in North Korea, I'm getting a little tired of him. I think I'm going to go and pay him a visit, says the Lord. You watch and see what I do.
Come on, come on.
And that will be a big sign that the man that I'm sending with a stone for the giant is emerging, says the Lord. Now God says a president that I will bring into the White House, and they will say he is ungodly, he does not know God. But even as Jesus disguised himself for the great feast, so I have disguised this man's heart. And when he comes to the White House, not only shall he be mine, but he shall pray as a man that has never prayed in the White House. Is anybody excited about this? That same man, says the Spirit of God, shall put his feet onto this platform, and God says they will say, how did this take place? Laws shall change. Young men and young women shall have access into the kingdom, and with authority into politics, and with authority into the industries that now have been controlled by darkness.
By other people who were running with him.
In April of 2011, retired firefighter Mark Taylor was watching the news when Donald Trump came on the screen.
I didn't know a lot about Donald Trump. I just knew he was a very powerful businessman, built this empire. I knew he was toying with the idea of running for president at the time. You know, most people thought it was a joke.
Well, he's kind of a comic book figure. I mean, he's a show-off.
He's a sideshow who threatens to swallow the Republican Party.
So I'm listening to him on an interview, and all of a sudden I just heard the voice of the Lord say, you're hearing the voice of a president.
Mark went into his office, got out a pen and paper, and started to write what he says the Holy Spirit told him.
You know, he was saying that basically that America was going to prosper like never before. Israel and America, the ties between the two countries would be stronger than ever before. The dollar would be the strongest it was ever been.
The economy is booming under this president.
We're up 254 points, 21,000 on the Dow.
It was very detailed as far as what God was showing me.
And Mark, this was 2011.
This was 2011.
Before he'd ever announced.
Before he ever announced.
Taylor says God used Trump to stop an anti-Christian agenda that was taking hold of America.
Dozens of other movies and TV shows feature a Trump-themed antagonist or show predictive programming around certain events that would happen to Donald Trump in the future, such as becoming president, the pandemic, the jab, the border wall, his 3 presidential elections, 9/11, and many other events surrounding him. One of the earliest of these is an old Western show called Trackdown. In an episode from 1958, season 1, episode 30, a con man named Trump comes to town and offers to save the day by building a wall. And on top of this, the episode is literally called The End of the World, what the Antichrist brings about.
All right, I want to switch gears. That's a good humorous segue to this, which is getting a lot of attention online.
I don't even know how you guys dug this up.
I know, it's a Western TV show from the 1950s. It was called Trackdown.
Right.
And it aired on CBS.
I know.
Right? And it features, this is true, it features a con man, and the con man's name is Trump. And that con man tries to justify building a wall. Roll the clip.
Dear friends, come forward, friends. Step forward. I bring you a message few of you will be able to believe, a message of great importance, a message I alone was able to read in the fires of the universe.
Which is why I alone can fix it.
But be not afraid, my friends. I also bring you the means with which to save yourselves. Save us from what? From the end of the world, friend. Which I don't expect you to believe. But the rest of you, those who want to be alive tomorrow morning, I will tell you tonight. Remember that. Bring your friends here. I'll tell you tonight so that you will be able to prepare. What are you selling, Mr. Snake Oil? The world will come to a flaming end at midnight tonight. Without my help and knowledge, every one of you will be dead.
Tell me something, what's going on in this town anyway? Did your mayor die or what?
World's coming to an end.
How's that?
Midnight tonight, the whole caboodle's gonna burn up.
Where'd you get that?
Fellow back there.
With the one with the hat on?
Mm-mm. Other one.
He says the world is going to come to an end?
Midnight tonight.
Where's he from?
Drove in this morning. Wagon out front.
Mm-hmm. Got a name?
Trump.
I bet it fits. Anybody in town know him?
Mm-mm.
But they're all willing to believe what he said.
Well, they're not gonna stop up their ears. He's supposed to give us the whole story tonight.
Well, I don't believe I'll wait till then. Excuse me.
But folks back there think differently.
Well, do they know what's going to happen?
Oh, some of them, they've been told. Yes, sir, good morning.
Mike.
Well, we got a ranger with us. How are you? I'm Sheriff Farrell.
Obi Gilman.
Something special bring you down here?
I'm on my way back to Porter.
Oh, I heard they sent for somebody. Too bad about the sheriff down there.
Oh, something happened to him?
He died.
Well, would you care to join us, Mr. Gilman?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Planning to remain in town for long?
Well, I understand I have until midnight.
And you heard?
Yeah, I heard. Your name is Trump?
Dr. Walter Trump. D-U-M-C-S-S-R.
Oh, that's a whole bunch of letters. All right, Sheriff, how long are you going to put up with this?
What do you mean?
How long are you going to let this con man walk around town?
Be careful, son. I can sue you.
The former president is suing New York Attorney General Letitia James. This legal action comes as no surprise. After all, he has a long history of suing people.
How about it, Sheriff? When are you going to put the lid on?
What for?
Well, stealing is stealing, whether you do it with a gun or a mouthful of mealy words.
I don't intend to sit here and be insulted, Sheriff. If your people don't want my help, I can go elsewhere.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Trump. You don't talk for the rest of us. Can you prove he's wrong?
Well, no, not right now, but if you give me some time...
Well, that's something we don't have very much of.
According to him.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Right now, it's a lot safer to go his way than it is yours.
Well, how did you get to be sheriff?
Look, this is not a suggestion. It's an order.
Can I get you anything?
No, thank you, sir.
You hear about Trump?
Yes, sir. What are you going to do about him?
What do you want me to do?
Stop him.
From what?
From taking the town.
Can you prove that that's what he has in mind?
Well, it's obvious.
But can you prove it? In order to arrest him, the sheriff has to have a charge. And Trump hasn't given him a thing to go on. Look here, son. I live here. I know these people pretty well. And right now, there's nothing in the world could change their minds. And anybody who tries to could end up getting hurt. They're not going to listen.
Well, what if he starts a panic? It could happen.
Well, sure. You might as well try to spit out a forest fire.
Well, there's got to be some way to stop him.
Well, if there is, I don't know it. It's a funny thing.
Sir?
When we were kids, we were all afraid of the dark. And we grew up, and we weren't afraid anymore, but it's funny how a big lie can make us all kids again.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. It is hard to tell what is more dangerous to American democracy at the moment, the big lie or the big delusion.
So we talk about the big lie.
On the big lie, I don't know.
And it's all based on the big lie.
Yes,
it
yes,
is
based on nothing.
Yeah.
Multiple capital injuries! Multiple capital injuries!
Like sheep, they ran toward the slaughterhouse. And waiting for them was the high priest of fraud.
I am the only one. Just me.
If our opponents prevail, no one will be safe in our country, and no one will be spared. No one will be spared. I'm the only thing standing between the American dream and total anarchy, madness, and chaos. And that's what it is. I'm representing you. I'm just here.
I can build a wall around your homes that nothing will penetrate. What do we do? How do we save ourselves? You ask, how do you build that wall? You ask, and I'm here to tell you.
this little disc, by its mere presence, will care for your animals. How can we get one of those? I understand your anxiety, my friend. The thought of death falling from above is not a pleasant one. You're a liar, Trump.
Donald Trump is a huge liar. By now, most people know that.
Look! Look up there! You can see him! By the billions, you can see him!
They're allowing millions and millions of people to come into our country that shouldn't be here.
I'll take it.
Look, Ranger, now it's just you and me. Look, we'll tell them we couldn't find the money.
I know where it is. I know you and Trump were in it together.
Look, you can't prove a thing.
Until the crowd knew that everything Trump had said was a lie, there was no hope for Talbot. The confidence man would always get the credit for saving the town. As long as the parasols were up, Trump was still believed.
In 1983, there was a short 2-episode sci-fi TV miniseries called V, the TV series, that aired on NBC about reptilian aliens coming to Earth as visitors. In 1984, a 3rd episode came out called V, the Final Battle, which contained clear predictive programming for the COVID vaccine. In the episode, the reptilian Supreme Commander John announces a vaccine for the world, much like Trump did with Operation Warp Speed. John's resemblance to Trump, along with his second-in-command's resemblance to Melania, is striking. That title, The Final Battle, was also referenced by Trump frequently in relation to the 2024 election being the final battle.
This is the final battle.
Okay, Tom, on 3. 3, 2. This is for America and the world. This reporter has just been given permission by Diana, one of John's most trusted aides, to make an exclusive announcement to all of you not fortunate enough to attend here in person. Tonight, John will give this planet an infallible vaccine.
Pfizer just announced phase 3 trial results of its COVID vaccine on children, showing it is 100% effective in kids ages 12 to 15.
The promising news from Pfizer this morning. In a final analysis of clinical trial data, the drug maker says its COVID-19 vaccine is 95% effective.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Supreme Commander.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening to all of you. It gives us visitors great pleasure to be here this evening at these ceremonies because it gives us an opportunity to repay the wonderful hospitality the people of Earth have shown us ever since we arrived here. You've all done everything you can to help us collect the resources we need to save the people of our planet. It seems only fair that we reciprocate. Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to announce that beginning tomorrow, doors will be opened at this hospital, and within weeks at hospitals around the world.
Get the laser torch and more troops.
Keep taking this.
All right, pretty face, grab some air.
Everybody freeze!
The visitors are not our friends. They've come to rape our planet and kill us. They are not who they appear to be. This is not science fiction. This is what they are. Go to the squad ship. You'll be safer there. Diana, what's the meaning of this? Get on the air and show the viewers that what they've seen is a terrorist hoax. Now! Ladies and gentlemen, you have just seen a terrorist attack on the hospital. But it wasn't terrorism. It was resistance. Resistance to the monsters who are trying to take over this planet. You see them as they really are. Reptiles. They must defeat us.
And look, I guess in a certain way I'm the father of the vaccine because I was the one that pushed it.
You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
Now, has anyone ever heard the snake? So this is called the snake. The snake, right? The snake. Are you ready? You ready? On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. She stroked his pretty skin, and then she kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
There you have it. A compilation of Donald Trump reciting the poem, The Snake, on multiple occasions. He has stated that the poem refers to illegal immigrants.
And I thought of it having to do with our borders and people coming in. And we know what we're going to have. We're going to have problems. We have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea who we're taking in. And we better be careful. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. We don't want open borders. We want very strong, closed borders. And we want people to come into our country, but they want to come in through merit, and we want them to come in legally, right? Right?
However, that is only half the truth, as the poem also reflects himself as the snake. Donald Trump presents himself as a poor, half-frozen snake, portraying himself as an innocent figure who is attacked and persecuted both verbally and physically. The woman represents MAGA cult followers, but more fittingly, undiscerning worldly Christians who have taken his bait and fallen for his deception, seeing him as the persecuted one, and worse, as God's anointed.
Okay.
My wallet made of pythons, swallow filthy dollars, my stomach never fails. Girls, boys, fast toys, spin them like a top.
Years ago, The Simpsons eerily predicted Donald Trump would be president. The episode, which aired in 2000, shows a grown-up Lisa Simpson taking over at the White House in the aftermath of a Trump presidency.
We're broke. The country is broke? How can that be?
Let's hope a Trump administration does better than that.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke? How can that be?
Well, remember when the last administration decided to invest in our nation's children? Big mistake.
The Balanced Breakfast program just created a generation of ultra-strong super criminals.
And midnight basketball taught them to function without sleep.
What about my pledge to build the world's largest bookmobile? Isn't there any money left for that?
No, and we borrowed from every country in the world.
Can you hold a sign?
You know it.
Want $50?
Woohoo!
Do you care who the next president is?
No.
Come with me.
Fade, fade, fade. Fade, fade, fade.
I'm right behind him. Not supposed to stare at it directly, but I can't help it. If I touch it, will it heal my baldness? Oh, it's so wispy. It's a gravity-defying comb-over. It's a gravity-defying comb-over. I can't believe that this was once on his ass. If he paid less than $1 million for it, it's a steal.
Ah! I am officially running.
No! No! Don't take me out of the ginger forest! No! Yeah! At least I'll always have this. Oh.
Do you think that the Trump presidency is scarier than a Stephen King novel?
Short answer to that is yes, I do. I do think it's scarier.
You're not the voice of the people. I am the voice of the people.
I will be your voice.
I was sort of convinced that it was possible that a politician would arise who was so outside the mainstream and so willing to say anything that he would capture the imaginations of the American people. They take him as a joke at first because he has these rallies and he throws hot dogs to the crowd and says, when Greg Stillson's elected, you're going to say hot dog. We got a real mover and shaker at last.
You're going to be so tired of winning.
Crazy stuff that nobody would possibly believe, or so we thought, until Donald Trump came along.
The man is a clown. He goes charging around the speaking platform like that at every rally. Some people want a giggle or two. Even more, they want to thumb their noses at a political establishment that doesn't seem able to solve anything.
When Greg Stillson actually gains a following, he has a cadre of bikers who support him.
You know, they're tough guys, right? Where are the bikers for Trump?
And they're at the rallies, and they're there to make sure that nobody heckles Greg Stillson.
Get him out of here! Get out! Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously.
The man had the high, hard, pumping delivery of a revival preacher. You could see a fine spray of spittle from his lips as he talked.
So I announced that I'm running for president.
What are we going to do in Washington? Throw the bums out. A tremendous roar of approval ripped out of the crowd.
We're going to drain the swamp. Drain the swamp.
My worry at the time that I wrote The Dead Zone was that somebody like Greg Stillson might actually get elected and rise through the ranks, become president of the United States, and start World War III.
The missiles are flying.
Had I really known the future, I could have had Greg say, well, I've got a button and it's bigger than your button.
My button is bigger than yours and my button works.
My destiny.
The first scene in the book is Greg Stillson at the beginning of his career, and he's selling Bibles, actually. He's a door-to-door salesman.
The Bible! Nothing beats the Bible. Nothing beats the Bible, not even the art of the deal.
Years after Stephen King did this interview, Trump would actually begin selling Bibles himself, including a $1,000 signature edition, which featured his autograph on the inside cover.
He's a huckster from the word go, and in that sense, he's got a lot of that Trump genome in him. I don't think that I necessarily predicted Donald Trump when I wrote The Dead Zone. I know that American voters have always had a real attraction to outsiders with the same kind of right-wing America First policy. And if that reminds people of Trump, I can't be sorry, because it was a character that I wrote. It was a boogeyman of mine, and I never wanted to see him actually on the American political scene, but we do seem to have a Greg Stillson as President of the United States.
I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for the tremendous support you've given this campaign. You've made this campaign the most talked about, the most exciting, the most important campaign in the history of this great state. And I've come here personally to thank you for that.
Donald Trump's run for the presidency has been a time of rich harvest. But it still takes a particular kind of genius to have seen this coming 30 years in advance. In 1987, Donald Trump took out a full-page ad in a number of newspapers saying that the world was laughing at American politicians and the U.S. was not on the right course. Shortly thereafter, the great Gary Trudeau, Pulitzer Prize-winning creator of Doonesbury, gave us this. A reporter asks, Mr. Trump, your denials notwithstanding, don't the ads you took out suggest a testing of the political waters? Mr. Trump responds, as I have said before, I was simply acting as a concerned citizen. At this time, I have no political ambitions whatsoever. Then the reporter follows up, okay, but if you did run for Congress, and then Trump interrupts and says, President, think president. That was September 17th, 1987. I was 14 years old. In 1989, 15 years before Donald Trump started the TV show The Apprentice, Gary Trudeau, Doonesbury, showcased Donald Trump entering the world of game shows and reality TV. In 1999, way before there was any serious talk about Donald Trump running for president, Gary Trudeau and Doonesbury caricatured him running. As you know, there's been this amazing response to my candidacy. It's unbelievable how amazing it's been. As long as I'm a candidate, you have to cover me, which is good for the Trump brand, which just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It was November 14th, 1999. Look at this one. Look at this one. This is from December 1999. A lot of people have been asking what this election is really about. Well, it's not about the economy, stupid, and it's not character, stupid, and it's not authenticity, stupid. It's not even about the issues, stupid. You want to know what this election is about? The reporter says, you, stupid? And Trump says, exactly! People are begging me to run, begging me. That was December 1999. Gary Trudeau didn't just see this whole thing coming. He saw this coming so clearly that he basically ended up scripting a portion of this year's political events decades in advance. That is really good satire, but it's also a really spookily accurate prediction.
Prototypes for President Trump's proposed border wall are now being built in Otay Mesa. And in tonight's Fact or Fiction, we're looking into a 27-year-old comic that seemed to predict this. A meme going around claims to show a 1990 comic strip that featured a controversial wall in New York City built by Donald Trump, who then rides a populist wave to gain power. It's actually true. Artist Peter Cooper published the strip in July 1990 in Heavy Metal magazine. Trump rises to power in New York on a platform centered around building a wall. Cooper says the idea came to him after a visit to Berlin in 1987 before their wall came down.
This 2011 comic from Blue Water Comics titled Political Power, Donald Trump contained predictive programming of a Trump presidency 6 years before he would be inaugurated for the first time. On the cover we see him swearing in, and we see him as Uncle Sam on the back. The description of the comic says, Donald Trump is a billionaire real estate mogul and television star, but does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? Learn how his grandfather and father both instilled in him the ambition and energy to do anything to make a buck, and how he combined that with skill and drive to earn billions of dollars selling real estate. Learn how his enormous ego could lead one of the most influential men in America to become its leader and the most powerful person on the planet. Another character who forecasted Donald Trump's rise to power is the character B.P. Richfield. B.P. Richfield is a tyrannical corporate overlord triceratops boss and the main antagonist of the 1991 show Dinosaurs. Like the Trump from Trackdown and many other Trump predicting programming motifs we see, he is also associated with the end of the world. Richfield doesn't care that his actions doom the entire dinosaur race because they have given the company its biggest third quarter ever. In his eyes, the apocalypse is only a fourth quarter problem. He ends up causing the Ice Age and the end of the world in the final episode. He is also stout with broad shoulders like Donald Trump and normally wears a suit and tie like him. The resemblance in dinosaur form is evident. B.P. Richfield ends up running for chief elder and campaigns on building a wall to keep out four-legged dinosaurs. The similarities to Trump are uncanny. Disney Wiki says he is a Styracosaurus who loves to abuse his considerable power and is a very aggressive and selfish individual who cannot abide to see others happy. He is feared by many and for good reason, as he is not only a bully but holds considerable power due to his position. Seeing Trump and Richfield side by side makes the predictive programming obvious.
Putting a wife to work is a very dangerous thing.
Wife starts making money, next thing you know she'll want to have more what they call input. Somebody remove this guy, he doesn't exist.
Get him out of here. Throw him out.
You're fired.
You're fired.
Don't let your kids touch anything.
You can get the baby out of here. I am officially running for President of the United States.
There's going to be an election for elder, and I've decided to run.
Well, my delight is limited only by my absolute terror, sir.
You're all fired!
You're all fired. All four are fired. Is there a particular reason why we're being cast into the street? Or is this just another of your delightful puckish whims?
Throw him out into the cold.
Get lost, you worthless Jones!
Get him out.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah, get him out.
Now get your babbling butt out that door.
Get him the hell out of here.
Now get out of here.
Get him out of here.
Now beat it.
Get out.
Are you still here?
My primary consultant is myself because I have a very good brain and I've said a lot of things.
If I want to ask advice about anything, I'll ask myself.
I know more about ISIS than the generals do, believe me.
Trump corporations have declared bankruptcy 4 times.
I have never gone bankrupt.
Bankruptcy? Are you nuts?
The fact is, I built a net worth of more than $10 billion.
We're raking it in.
I have a great company.
I am a great and powerful dinosaur.
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
And you? Well, you're a puny nothing. Because of my position and social standing, I can say whatever I want to you.
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy.
And you have no choice but to flatter me in return.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
And you should lighten up, Toots.
I don't want to sound too much like a chauvinist, but when I come home and dinner's not ready, I go through the roof. We have people that are stupid.
You muling pack of ingrates. It's not the company's fault. It's never the company's fault.
He released a weird, angry statement. Nothing is ever his fault.
I'll show you whose fault it is. Take a look at this.
The Journal of Economic Finger Pointing.
It clearly states that all our current economic troubles are traceable to one source. Four-leggers.
They're taking our jobs. They're taking our manufacturing. They're taking our money. They're taking everything, and they're killing us.
They have been coming over here for years from the other side of the swamp, insinuating themselves into our communities with their decadent, four-legged ways.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
I have been named foreman of a very special construction project.
We need to build a wall.
The anti-four-legger swamp wall.
This is a serious wall.
So that those stinking four-leggers can't sneak over here and undermine our sacred free enterprise system.
And this is a serious wall, okay? This wall is wide. This is like this, and this is a serious wall.
No challenge is too great when you're attacked with imagination, ingenuity, and a relaxed attitude toward building codes.
And the greatest builder is me. And I would build the greatest wall you have ever seen.
We're gonna make history. Some may say I'm an overzealous control freak with paranoid delusions.
I think Mr. Trump is not just hyperbolic, but indeed delusional.
But I like to think of myself as the loving papa.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? You are.
Excuse me.
What was that based on?
Excuse me.
I'm speaking.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
I'm speaking. For years, our government has squandered money on affordable housing, education, and health care.
I'm going to cut big Department of Education.
Finally, that money is going where nature intended it, to defense contractors.
Donald Trump today called for more military spending.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
I'll kill you!
Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously.
I'll pull your head off and bowl with it!
I will pay for the legal fees, I promise.
We got a little problem with the public. They hate us.
Donald Trump now has an almost 70% disapproval rating.
So we're going to launch an ad campaign to make us look friendly.
As big a personality as he is, his heart really sits in the shoes of the average guy.
BP Richfield, whether running a multi-million-dollar corporation, chopping wood like a regular guy, BP Richfield shows that he cares.
Well, I guess you're all wondering why I called you here. I'm wondering myself, since I hate the stinking sight of you.
Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that, the face of our next president?
The federal government should get out of the way.
Good can only happen in this world when individuals put their trust in corporations.
They asked me the question, what do you think of waterboarding? Absolutely fine, but we should go much stronger than waterboarding.
I thought holding your head underwater until your eyes bugged out would be more productive, but I was overruled.
Mr. Trump, you're calling for tax cuts for the wealthy. I'd like you to defend that.
See, rich folks tend to live in big houses on the tops of hills. And so if we give them all the money, some of it's bound to slip out of their pockets and roll down to where the poor folks are.
The coal miners, they love doing what they're doing.
Love to work. It's like a game to them, getting all dirty down in the coal mine.
You can't use hairspray because hairspray is going to affect the ozone.
Boo-hoo! It's raining acid. There's a hole in the ozone.
Environmental protection, what they do is a disgrace.
Bunch of tree-hugging squirrel lovers get together, and suddenly I'm supposed to care where I dump my trash?
All of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax.
I think you're missing the point, sir. The world may be coming to an end.
Well, that's a fourth quarter problem. We'll drop a bomb on that bridge when we come to it. Right now, my biggest problem is trying to figure out what to do with all this money. The sensitive ecological balance of nature. I'm going to be sick.
Department of Environmental Protection. We are going to get rid of it.
Come to my impressive estate.
I really do live in a very nice apartment, right?
Fortunately, the big money interests who control my party also control the other party. So, all I gotta do is find an opposing candidate so utterly pathetic and profoundly stupid that I can't help but win. We have no intention of changing the way we do business. What we want to change is the public's perception of us.
Washington is broken. The truth is, too many politicians are totally controlled by special interests and lobbyists.
But one dinosaur is already hard at work finding solutions for a better tomorrow.
We're going to make America great again.
BP Richfield. He cares so much, it hurts.
Trump is uncannily similar to BP Richfield. Trump's even been closely connected to the show since shortly after it came out. Here is Donald Trump and Marla Maples welcoming walk-around characters from the Dinosaurs show on February 12, 1992, less than a year after it aired, at his then-owned Plaza Hotel in New York City to promote the TV show in conjunction with Toy Fair. In one episode of the show, while BP Richfield is running for Chief Elder of Pangea, the election that takes place is clear predictive programming of the 2024 Trump versus Biden election debate.
What an appalling display. The voters of this nation are presented with a choice between a monstrous, bloodthirsty psychopath and a self-confessed brain-dead ignoramus. Help me, please. What will future generations think of us? That we cannot present the public with better alternatives than these. Surely somewhere there must exist a leader with the intelligence, vision, and decency to guide our nation.
Making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it. We're literally an uncivilized country now.
Recently, Trump was called a dinosaur in real life when Gavin Newsom told Europe that Trump was a T-Rex and he needs to be stood up to.
Governor Newsom, do you have a message for Europeans who are concerned about the messages from the White House around Greenland this week?
Yeah, it's time to buck up. It's time to get serious and stop being complicit. It's time to stand tall and firm, have a backbone.
So what should Europe be doing?
You should decide, the Europeans should decide for themselves what to do. But one thing they can't do is what they've been doing. And they've been playing. This guy is playing folks for fools. And it's embarrassing.
Europeans think this is diplomacy and this will ultimately
this is
work.
diplomacy with Donald Trump. He's a T-Rex. You mate with him or he devours you. One or the other.
Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you, God Emperor Trump.
Prima categoria di Carlo Lombardi. Arriva la seconda categoria di Luca Bertozzi, Moon Dream.
Just like I do. Bitches on my dick that used to brush me off in high school. Take over the world when I'm on my Donald Trump shit. Look at all this money. Ain't that some shit? Take over the world when I'm on my Donald Trump shit. Look at all this money. Ain't that some shit?
Take over the world when I'm on my Donald Trump
Trump shit.
In June 2016, LA-based American film director, visual effects artist, musician, and YouTuber Michael Dahlquist, known professionally as Mike Diva, released a Japanese Trump 2016 commercial which forecasted Trump taking over the whole world and also destroying it. The video features a Japanese woman with an insane obsession with Donald Trump. Mike Diva wrote in the description of the video on YouTube that it's not a pro-Trump video, and he thought there was no way the clown would win at the time. Nonetheless, the foreshadowing and predictive programming is there. This same artist has worked for Adult Swim in the past and made this strange, satanic-seeming horror video as part of their late-night, surreal, absurd humor, which seemed to show some kind of sick ritual with apparent baby sacrifice. This same artist is behind the following predictive programming video of Trump taking over the world.
Corporate cockshafting like the next person because I need to pay the rent. But if you ask me, the Antichrist has been with us for a long time, and he means business. Big business. But if you ask me, the Antichrist has been with us for a long time, and he means business. Big business.
First, there's two Trumps.
Okay.
The one in the red tie is the real one. The one in the blue tie is not.
Why do I think McDonald's is the Antichrist?
Donald Trump is known for a lot of things, and one is his serious love of fast food. You might even call it an obsession. But how did this obsession start?
There's two Trumps.
Okay.
The one in the red tie is the real one. The one in the blue tie is not.
And why has it carried with him all the way to the presidency? Here's the secret behind Trump's love. Here's the secret behind Trump's love. Here's the secret behind Trump's love of fast food.
How do you do it? What's your secret?
If you ever watched commercial television in the 90s, you'll be all too familiar with Donald Trump's fascination with fast food and junk food.
But if you ask me, the Antichrist has been with us for a long time, and he means business. Big business.
It's good. You want to do it? Yeah.
Mr. Trump, what's your favorite thing to order at McDonald's?
I like it all. I like every ounce of it, everything. But I do like the French fries where I'll be working.
Who has the most unhinged eating habits?
The president. The interesting thing about the president is that he eats really bad food, which is McDonald's, and then, candy and Diet Coke. But he drinks the Diet Coke all times. He has the constitution of a deity. I don't know how he's alive, but he's just pumping himself full of poison all day long, and you don't know how he's walking around, much less being the most energetic person, any of us have ever met.
Due to copyright issues, I'm unable to show this next clip of predictive programming, so I'll just explain it. In 2004, Donald Trump was on SNL with Donald Trump's House of Wings.
At Donald Trump's House of Wings.
At one point in the show, we see Trump in, and it's surrounded by flames, as if in hell. Then when Trump is naming off the levels of heatness, we see at Suicidal, there's a picture of him as the devil. Then in the next flavor, he's literally the hell spawn. Towards the end of the skit, Donald Trump's House of Wings is depicted in what looks like hell. In December 2016, Topps released a Garbage Pail Kids collectible card with Trump as a devil with demon horns making the M of the Time magazine. The card is number 102 and is titled Disgrace to the White House, another depiction of Trump as the devil, a demon, or a general antagonist.
But you can just call me the Donald.
You can call me the Marshal. The Simon here.
Just plain Radford. You know, it kills me to see a business like this not living up to its earning potential.
You can say that again.
Maybe I can help you. Normally I don't handle accounts this small, but I like you. You're my kind of people. You've got to think big. If you let me handle promotion, ads, TV spots, PR, I guarantee you'll clean up. I'll stake my reputation on it.
What's in it for you?
Where do I sign?
Aren't you gonna read it first?
Why? You can't lose. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah. Normally, Mr. Radford didn't top my worry list, but being broke made him an easy mark. I didn't have a clue what was in that contract, but a little voice inside me was screaming, do not trust a dude with a ponytail whose first name is The. Danger, eerie weirdness directly ahead. Danger. It didn't take long for the Donald to overhaul the world of stuff.
There you go. Here it is, the definitive answers to the JFK assassination, the Iran-Contra cover-up, the cure for the common cold, and our hidden videotape of Madonna's torrid affair with...
Hey, wake those neighbors, bring those kids, because the moment all of Erie has been waiting for is finally here. The world of stuff! The world of stuff is having its midnight madness sale! How much does it cost?
Well, now that's the problem with this world. Everybody wants to know the price of everything and the value of nothing.
Our investment will make it possible for the vaccine to be provided by Pfizer free of charge.
Weird stuff was happening so fast that I had an urge to buckle up my seatbelt. Was Erie turning into a town of shopping zombies in PJs? Was Dash and Radford getting sucked into a swirling vortex of greed? Was there anything I could do to stop Erie from signing its life away? I was seeing a side of Dad's personality I'd never seen before. It was as if his mental underpants were showing. He was sleepwalking, and all I could think was, if this could happen to me when I fell asleep, I never wanted to sleep again. The fine print. In this lifetime, as well as the incarnations, the next 10,000 lifetimes, blah, blah. Oh, here it is. If buyers don't pay in full in cash, Donald Incorporated gets to repossess their souls. What does he want with our souls? He doesn't have one of his own.
All right, all aboard that's going aboard. Plenty of room for everybody. That's right, boss, every single citizen is boarding, even as we speak. Not a single soul left. That's right, biggest 24-hour haul since the last days of Rome. Real Old Testament style.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great. Donald Trump. We're all cut from the same cloth. From the same cloth. Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. We're all cut from the same cloth. And that cloth is very, very large. It's not too big, is it? No.
Why do New Yorkers have such big mouths?
Go big or go home.
Because they eat big pizza like the big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. We're talking 40% bigger. Soft, fresh dough with all your favorite toppings. Now from just $9.95.
You've got to be losing money on this.
131166.
Pizza Hut.
131166.
Pizza Hut.
So, global crisis averted?
Yes, for now. So we can talk about Caligula, Stalin, Trump. I mean, I know he's not dead, but he's definitely going.
The candidate who's always talking about his fortune...
I'm getting a terrific vision.
...is now telling fortunes...
Stare into my crystal ball.
The all-seeing Trump is being seen all around New York City. With his red eyes and his intentionally small hands, he's predicting the future.
Everybody loves me. The people at the soup kitchen love me.
And attracting crowds.
We're gonna make America sexy again.
He's modeled after Zoltar.
I wish I were big.
In the movie Big. Now fortune-telling Trump has gone big. When he was placed by Trump Tower, security didn't know what to do with it.
So many bodies.
Police finally turned off the sound to shut him up. He's the brainchild of anonymous anti-Trump artists who paid $9,000 to Characters Unlimited to create him. Those pursed lips were the tricky part.
His lips are kind of sticking out, and when they pull it out of the mold, it's kind of hard to get it out of the mold without ripping his lips off.
Hit the button, he talks. Moving on from President Obama's birth certificate to...
Is Elvis Presley still alive?
At one point, outside Trump International Hotel, all-seeing Trump died.
This is historic. Donald is silent.
Repairman to the rescue.
I like this. Better than the real one.
I'm voting for Trump.
He's the guy who made all-seeing Trump, who spits out what they call misfortunes.
He who expects nothing will be pleasantly surprised when I'm president.
Excuse me.
Occasionally, even the real Donald Trump projects a little too far into the future.
Make sure you get out and vote November 28th.
But the all-seeing Trump is no dummy. He knows Election Day is November 8th. Ginny Mo, CNN.
Of the two of you, I only want the attractive one to come up to the booth.
New York.